who must face the league leaders under strength. But if they are to keep pace with those above them, Hull must do what only Wigan have achieved in the last 2 years, beat the Bulls at home. Matthew Elliott's bang on course to coach his men to finish top of the table for the 3rd time in 5 summer seasons. And awesome is the only word that can adequately describe their destruction of Salford here 3 weeks ago. A new Super League record. A week later they lost to Wigan, but last Sunday they bounced back and capitalised on their trip to London. Surely an England call this year for Scott Naylor. Big and raw-boned, his 12-try haul is already the best of his career. Hull boss Sean McRae hasn't been out of a job in the summer era, St Helens, Gateshead and now Hull. But this is a crucial night, because last week his top 5 ambitions took a serious knock. Defeat at Salford meant Hull had lost valuable ground on those above them. He's only 17, but Richard Horne is one of the brightest prospects around, an outstanding talent who won't be overawed here. The Bulls lifted the Challenge Cup for the first time in 51 years. 4 days later they were at the Boulevard. Hull became the first club to take a point off them this year. 2 weeks ago the Bulls lost for the first time in 2 years at home. They want to stay top, but Hull need the win to keep the dream alive.
Let go, let go, and failing now. Let go, and failing now. Let go, and failing. Let go, and failing now. Babylon, Babylon. Wow, 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 wow.
Well, here we are at round 19 of the Super League already, and Braford Bulls are sitting pretty at the top of the table, and they will stay there if they beat Hull here tonight. But Hull, as you can see, they're in 6th place. They're 3 points behind the clubs above them, and they really do need to win here to maintain interest in the top 5 and the playoffs. Welcome to Odsal and the chance to assess the form of the league leaders again. What a shame, though, that Hull arrive here with so many men out injured. 10 stars altogether are on the sidelines. It's not the way Sean McRae would have planned it if he possibly could have done. But don't expect our guest tonight, Stuart Raper, the boss of the Castleford Tigers, to be complaining. He's here with Steve O'Mee to watch the events here unfold, because, of course, if Bradford win, well, it will be a wonderful night for all of you down at the Jungles, Stuart, if they come out on top.
Well, maybe not tonight, but I'm sure they'll be happy, and hopefully we beat Halifax on Sunday, we might have a few beers.
The pressure might be off a little bit, eh?
Oh, just a little bit, but still a long season to go.
Yes, a long, long way to go, and we'll be looking at this game in depth in a few moments' time. But perhaps of greater significance for the game as a whole in this country is the fact, for the first time in living memory, there isn't a British coach in charge of one of the clubs in the top echelon of the Rugby League. The last member of the British coaching department was sacked yesterday, John Keir, from the Huddersfield Sheffield Giants. He paid the price because the Giants have won just 2 games all year. Well, it isn't long ago that John Keir enjoyed his finest hour. In 1998, John coached the Sheffield Eagles to Wembley and victory in the Challenge Cup final against the Wigan Warriors. But with the newly merged club at Huddersfield, the pressure has been just a little bit different, and now he has paid the ultimate price. Well, a few moments ago, John Keir spoke here at Odsal to our reporter Bill Arthur.
John, given the way the season had gone for the Giants, do you think this was inevitable?
Well, I'm disappointed that I wasn't allowed to see my contract out and try to turn things around and put structures in place to guarantee success. But when you look at the injuries that we've had, the problems we've had with the merger, which I think are far greater than anybody accounted for, but I've paid the price for results, and obviously the board of directors decided that was it.
Can you accept that?
You've got to accept it. I mean, I do feel like injury lists, and there are various reasons, but they're the guys who pay me, and they've decided that they terminated my contract.
But sport's so cruel, isn't it? 2 years are here at Wembley, and now this.
Yes, it is cruel, but you've got to experience the low to enjoy the highs. and that's what's happened at the minute. It's a low, but I'm sure it'll be highs in the future, especially with the World Cup coming around the corner.
But doesn't this undermine your position as England coach?
Not at all, no. I mean, I think if you look at results at Huddersfield, that's the reason for my termination of contract. If you look at results at international level, it's 100%. The other thing is that the Rugby Football League have issued a statement saying that my job is safe because I am under contract there, and they would shoot themselves in the foot if it was anything otherwise. And also David Howes and myself have really worked very hard to put structures in place and organisation, and it does give me time to prepare even better and to prepare for success in the World Cup.
What better way to prove a point than to go on and win the thing?
Yes, that's exactly right, and that's what we intend to do. We really intend to make a mark with England and make everybody proud of it, and it won't do my own sort of chances any harm either.
Well, he's pretty bullish and pretty up about it, despite the events of the past 24 hours. You wouldn't expect anything else of him, would you? But Steve-O, this is a dreadful indictment, isn't it, on the British game? There isn't a British coach now in Super League.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are saying and they're pointing fingers now, but this has been coming for quite some time. It isn't as though it's just come up and give us a rabbit punch at the back of the neck, has it? We've known for well over 10, maybe 15 years that we've not had a coaching scheme in place to bring through former players like Crooks or Schofield who have retired. Now we have here Brian Noble at Bradford. He has been under Matthew Elliott's guidance. He is coming through. I have no doubt he will become one of our better and best coaches that we've ever seen in this country. But the thing is, the people who have been running our game for quite so often, they have just completely ignored the fact that you have to have a scheme in place so that these players, perhaps if Super League would have dipped in with a little bit more money, and that when they did retire, they were retained for another 2 years, so they can be under the guidance of the best. And we all know that the best at the moment is either coming from New Zealand or from Australia. Now, we have already seen, 10 years ago, we started on the academy. We are now bearing the fruit. We have got some good young players coming through, young players who are going to do credit for our country. The problem is we have not done the same thing for coaches. If you've got to have something in place there so that they can aspire to and be guided, but not to flit around from one club to another, not go from a Super League club because an NFP club says, well, come and do it and try. They have to be coached in the proper manner. And when they are ready, then they can go to another club.
Well, it's a decent point, isn't it, about the fact that there doesn't seem to be a production line of British coaches coming through. All right, Gary Schofield, Lee Crooks have had a little dabble at it in the past, but Brian Noble's here as an assistant at Bradford. At Castleford, Stuart, and you're one of the 12 Anzacs now involved in the Super League, but at Castleford you've got Graham Steadman underneath you. Now there's another future British coach maybe who can come through after learning the ropes.
Well, that's the important thing. I think a lot of the Australian coaches do have British assistants, which I think is very important. I think that has to be really, if they're going to bring Australian coaches in or overseas coaches, they've got to make sure that they have British assistants so that they can work with us Australian coaches. I mean, that's the way I came through. It's the way a lot of the coaches, I think 11 out of the 14 actual NRL coaches at the moment have coached reserve grade, so they've come through the ranks too. So hopefully that they can get that system. It's obviously probably come to the fore now with having all us Aussies, as they say, over here, but hopefully this will, you know, bring to light and things will happen and change. You know, like Steve-O said, the academy is starting to get some fruition with the young kids coming through, and hopefully if they do something, maybe in a couple of years you might see more British coaches coming through the system.
Well, you know, we could go on talking about this all night, couldn't we? But sport is cyclical, and let's hope that over the next few years something is put in place and the British coaches start to come through. One of these days a Super League club has got to take a punt on the likes of Neil Kelly at Dewsbury, Mike Gregory, who of course has served under people like Sean McRae at St Helens in his time. As I say, we could go on about this all night, but we must move on because we've got a game to preview here. The game, of course, between the Bradford Bulls, the league leaders, and Hull. So who will win here? The debate will rage for 80 minutes, there's no doubt about that. And talking of debates, it turns out there are a couple of stars from the Bradford Bulls who are pretty good at it.
Two tribes go into battle. It's about speed. It's about strength. It's about a good argument. Yes, you've got to think fast to make it in life, on the pitch and off it, as Henry and Robbie Paul discovered this week. They watched Hull Next School in Leeds and Almondbury School from Huddersfield slug it out in a schools debating contest at the Eureka Museum in Halifax. The motion that an hour a day for maths is too long. For the motion, Robbie Paul.
Being that I'm more of the artistic mind and more of the suppressed subject matter that was being spoken about tonight, I disagree with the hour-long maths a day. I agree that there should be more of the other subjects, you know, put into play during the course of the day. I believe drama, art, and all of those subjects should be pushed forward.
Against, you guessed.
Well, I compare it to a game of rugby, you know. I think both teams had their spells and they were doing really great, and then I think Paul Neck just sort of coming out on top. Maybe they've ground the other team down, so to speak.
Robbie and Henry were named in Frank Endicott's 42-man squad for the World Cup for New Zealand this week, but the visit of Hull was a more pressing subject.
This is their first year with a new setup, and I think they've got a lot of things to prove. And in saying that, you know, we've had a tough couple of weeks, and we want to get back on top.
We won't take Hull lightly. We're on top again now, so we've got a lot to play for.
I'm going to announce that Almondbury have won it.
Winners of the debate were Almondbury, who convinced the judges an hour of maths was too long. For once, the polls were divided.
You need an hour, like they were saying.
They need to focus their energies into more.
But you can rest assured they'll be united on one subject tonight, and they'll let their rugby talents do all the talking.
I'm telling you.
The brothers Paul arguing about the debate. Well, I'm sure they'll be on the same side tonight. Now, Hull, as I say, they arrive here with 10 first-teamers out. They are injured. And for one of the Hull stars, this injury crisis hasn't just meant that he is out of this game, it has meant the end of his career.
It was a game too far for Andrew Hick. The big Hull FC prop dug deep to help his side through their injury crisis, but in doing so, he brought his own career to a premature end. 29-year-old Andrew went into the game against Castleford with a knee injury, which turned out to be severe cruciate ligament damage. He'll undergo a reconstruction next week, but he won't be coming back.
I think I could have got another couple of seasons. Like, I'm 29 now, but since I've been here, the start of last year, I've had a lot of injuries, and it's made it hard living over here, and it makes it hard to enjoy your football when you've had so many injuries. So I think it's the body telling me that I'm too old to play.
You know, I'm, as well as being a professional coach with these players, I'm friendly with a lot of them, and you know, it's sad for me when something like this does happen. And you know, Hickster was an important and a very popular member of this squad, and he'll be missed.
And that means the end of Andrew's English adventure, which started on a chilly January day at Newcastle Airport last year. But the former Cronulla, Wests and Adelaide forward has no regrets about his spell with Gateshead Thunder and Hull FC.
It's not just the adventure that's been over here, but I've been playing professional league for a long time, and it's not the way I wanted to end my career. I was sort of hoping for Hull to get to the semis, and hopefully they still will, but I wanted to be on the field as part of that and go out in a positive manner, but sometimes you don't have a say in those sort of things.
Hull's loss is shared by the Irish because Andrew was in their squad for the Lincoln Financial Group World Cup this year, and he's bitterly disappointed to be missing out on that too.
It's a very big disappointment. They had a tri-series last year, and I had an injury that kept me out of that, unfortunately, so I was really hoping to make it to the World Cup this year, but as I said before, unfortunately the injury stopped me doing that, and I'd just like to wish all the boys that are involved with the Irish side all the best of luck in the World Cup at the end of the year.
And golf fan Andrew's other big regret is that he'll miss a trip to the Open at St Andrews next week. You'll have to watch that from his hospital bed.
Needless to say, we wish Andrew Hick all the very best in his retirement from the field of play. He was an outstanding player for Gateshead and for Hull this year. So, Bradford Bulls, they begin the weekend as league leaders. If they win here tonight, as I said earlier, they will stay there, and that is something that is on the minds of everyone in the Bulls camp.
I think staying there is a challenge. We've got some tough games coming up, 10 to go. You've got to be looking to win all 10 to keep at the top of the tree, because Saints are Wigan are certainly firing on the pressure now. It's a matter of concentrating on ourselves and reproducing some of the form we've shown all year. Hull will provide us with that kind of stiff challenge that we need at this time of the year, and the boys will be focused.
It's a great chance to measure yourself against one of the better teams in the competition. It's an opportunity for some of the players to stand up and be counted, and you know, if we can go there with a lot of enthusiasm and be competitive for the game, then you're always a chance of causing what I believe most people would consider an upset. But certainly we've prepared well all week, and we believe we can go there and play well.
We're not performing how we was at the beginning of the season. There's no secret in that. And the game against Hull, not really, no disrespect to Hull, but it's not about Hull. It's about us and how we implement things that we've done in training. If we can do that to a good standard, we should come away with a win comfortable. And if we think we can just sit on our laurels just because we're top of the table at this moment in competition, well, it won't work, you know, with another 10, 11 games as it left, plus the playoffs.
If we keep winning, you know, things will fall into place. If we start losing games, well, it's going to be very tough for us to make the top 5. So our destiny's in our own hands. So long as we keep winning, well, hopefully we'll be there at the end of the year.
We've been so used to winning at home that we forgot what we would like to lose at home. So we want to get back up there and start winning again at home. They've got some great players, and we all know Sean McRae's a very good coach. So we've got to be wary of them. I think they'll be looking back to come back with a win hopefully against us, but we've got different plans.
They're a great side, Braford. You know, they're leading the comp. Got big forwards, big players all across the field. We're just looking forward to get out there and get in and get involved. They've got Paul Anderson, McDermott, Fielding, like they're big players and like good go forward. So like we've got to try and get over the top of them early.
Luke Felsh will be carrying the battle in the forwards for the whole team tonight. But it was interesting what Brian McDermott said in his section of that interview there, wasn't it? That they're under a bit of pressure, really, the Bradford Bulls, not playing as well as they did at the start of the season, Stuart. It has been a little bit of a blip. They were beaten here by Wigan last time out, and they went to London apparently, but they weren't convincing, although they won.
No, well, you know, I mean, they were just such a juggernaut at the start of the year. They were pretty well unstoppable, and you know, but it's a long season, and it's always going to have ebbs and flows and highs and lows, and you know, it's hard to maintain consistency right throughout a 28-game season, and then in the final series.
Have you all found out about Bradford Bulls now, do you think?
I don't know. It's about finding out. I don't think there's anything to hide there. You know, I mean, you know what they're going to do. You know where they're going to come. They're very strong, aggressive side. The Bulls are, you know, outstanding halves, and they've got very big outside backs. So they're fairly predictable in what they're going to do, and but you know, I mean, I think sides are gradually, you know, analysing that and trying to do things to stop what they're trying to do to you. And you know, I mean, Hull will be doing their best to try and do that tonight.
Yeah, it's all a question really of stopping Bradford doing what they do best, and then doing what you do best on the other side of the field. Steve, well, that's it in a nutshell, isn't it? I mean, we could be coaches here.
Well, you certainly confused me there, Andy. That is the show. But I think you've only got to look at last weekend. Now, Warrington, they were riddled with injuries, and they had to bring 3 unknown youngsters in. And look what happened there. They were the stars of the show. They lifted the beautiful players that were around them, the older players, should we say, and they really responded and really gave Halifax a hammering. Now, I'm not saying that Hull can do that tonight, but they can cause a few problems, because they will have a few problems. The 2 Paul brothers are in exceptional form, especially Robbie Paul. He has been outstanding this year. They all expected it to gel very early in the season. It hasn't. It has been the power in the centres and, of course, their forward back. But now, if they get rolling forward, they can allow Robbie Paul and, of course, his brother Henry Paul to start taking control. If you get in the faces, yes, they can be confused. Give them space and room to move, then they will cut you to ribbons. And that's why it's such a big night for the Hull halfback Will Robinson. Experienced, he knows what it's all about. A good short kicking game indeed, and in fact most of the moves will evolve around this little halfback. It'll be interesting to see whether they can continue on the combination with the young 17-year-old Richard Horne. We mentioned a little bit earlier, didn't we, about the fact that the academy is bringing through some wonderful talent. But when you play outside an experienced player like Mr. Robinson, then it can gel. But the big question is, for me, is can the decimated Hull pack contain the juggernauts from Bradford? I doubt it.
We shall wait and see, but as you can maybe see behind me, the sky has cleared here in West Yorkshire. It's a lovely evening for this, the first match of Super League's round 19. The rest of the fixtures will be played on Sunday, and this is the way they shape up. Stewart's Castleford Tigers take on the Halifax Blue Sox, 3:30 at the Jungle. Huddersfield Sheffield Giants, with the new coaching duo in charge now, take on the champions at McAlpine at 3 o'clock. Be interesting to see how they cope. London Broncos against the Wakefield Wildcats. It's a 3 o'clock kick-off at the Valley. And Salford City Reds take on Leeds Rhinos at the Willows. And Wigan against Warrington is the match you can enjoy with us on Sunday evening, live on Sky Sports 1 from 7 o'clock. That's the way Super League round 19 shapes up. Well, out in the sunshine a few minutes ago, the coin toss, Robbie Paul of the Bulls on the right and Tony Grimaldi on the left of Hull.
Robbie, Tony, if we can grab a quick word with you. Robbie first, you haven't been firing on all cylinders lately. Tonight's the night to get back on track, isn't it?
Yeah, well, things haven't been going too bad. I mean, we had that loss against Wigan, and it was very disappointing for us. We broke a 32 winning home ground record for us. And hopefully tonight, this will be the first one of the 33.
We'll see. Thanks, Robbie. Tony, if I can bring you in, without so many key players tonight, a lot of people have written you off already. I suppose that's pretty good motivation, isn't it?
Well, it's coming to underdog, that doesn't worry us. Most games this year when we play against the top 4, you're underdogs, so that's not a problem. It's a good chance for some good young kids to come and prove themselves. No better test.
It will be a test for those youngsters. There's no fewer than 4 teenagers on the bench for Hull. We'll confirm that for you when we run through the teams a little bit later on. But right now it's time for me to remind you about the man of the match. And the competition is running for you at home and also for all the players out there on the field tonight. And there's the watch that the man of the match will go home on his arm with tonight if he comes up with a man of the match performance. We want you to be involved as ever at home. You can take part in the competition by phoning that number with about 20 minutes of the second half to go. Prize, a couple of tickets to the grand final if you can predict the losing coach's choice. It's on Saturday, October the 14th, and if you fancy a really big night out, well, enter the competition because all the winners this year go into that draw to win the box at Old Trafford on the big night. 09009 10 10 13 with around about 20 minutes of the game remaining. Can Hull do the impossible? It sounds, Stuart, like Mission Impossible here, doesn't it, for them?
Looking at the side they've got, Adam, it's going to be a hard task for Hull. You know, I mean, Bradford, they're very strong, and, you know, they've been hurt by their loss against Wigan 2 weeks ago, and, you know, although they haven't been playing that great, I'm sure they're out for a great performance tonight, and, you know, I've got to go with Bradford.
Well, I think a lot of people will. You know, Bradford are the league leaders, Steve-O. They've been playing wonderful stuff. All right, they've had a blip, haven't they? They lost here last time out, and that's bad news for Hull as well.
Well, it certainly isn't. It's going to be a hard task, we know that, but they do have some talent out there, and if they can get off to a good start, we have seen already this season that they can turn around. If you get in the faces of this Bradford side, I mentioned a few weeks ago, Warrington, who would have thought Bradford were just running away with the game? Warrington dug deep and turned it around. That was a shock result. Who knows? It's a funny game, rugby league.
Yes, it is a funny old game, and we shall see over the course of the next 80 minutes who will win the debate. Sean McRae has got a pretty good reputation of coaching sides who are going to be competitive, and he reckons they will be competitive here on the field despite the fact that so many players are out and injured. Good contingent of Hull support on the terraces for them. Odsall bathed in sunshine, and now we await the kick-off. It's the Bradford Bulls who are the league leaders. If they win, they'll stay top of the pile. Hull have got to win to keep tabs on Castleford.
This, so I'm told, is a 30-second TV commercial, but I happen to be going out.
Why worry about your diarrhea attack coming back? Just one dose of dual-action Imodium Plus can stop diarrhea and calm your stomach. Imodium Plus.
This is going to be in the Palais Dauphine champagne reception. Thank you. And you've been invited. We're all going. I'd like to paradise. Life is a road upon which you will find the inn of happiness.
Financial controller for fast expanding telecoms company. £45,000 a year.
Isn't that the job that you wanted?
Why look for a job when the job can look for you? Read.
Love is like candy on a shelf. You want to taste and help yourself. Just help yourself to my lips, to my arm. Just say the words, they are yours. Just help yourself to the love in my heart. Your smile has opened up the door.
Walls Cornetto, it's a love thing.
Take this new high-performance Astra Coupe, loaded up with an average family, and the handling will suffer. To prove this, I'll be mother, and my colleagues here will be my husband and children. As you can see, the car is now unresponsive.
No, it isn't. Thanks to the enhanced chassis and uprated springs and dampers.
And the lowered sports suspension. And... Quiet in the back! Don't cheek your mother.
Vauxhall, raising the standard.
Oh no, I don't believe it!
Well, you can believe this. Bounty, amazingly absorbent and incredibly strong when wet. Everyday value. See for yourself.
Ooh. Another day, another ad for new, even smoother John Smith's Extra Smooth. Ooh. Oh.
Ever wondered why cows don't get heartburn? Cows don't skip breakfast. Cows don't race around all day on a jelly baby. Cows don't eat curries. We can't all have a stomach as peaceful as a cow. So, if you do get a twinge, take Zantac 75. Get relief from heartburn and indigestion for up to 12 hours. Zantac 75. Be human. Have the stomach of a cow.
The battle for supremacy of the Southern Hemisphere commences.
This is a brilliant try.
Australia, New Zealand and South Africa meet in the Tri-Nations to decide who's the best. First, the world champions Australia renew their intense rivalry with the awesome might of the New Zealanders.
All Blacks throwing everything at the Wallabies.
Ford International Rugby, Saturday morning, 10:30 live, Sky Sports 3.
It's Bradford Bulls against Hull. We've got 10 rounds to go and the Bulls are on course to head the table for the third time in 5 years of summer football. But Hull are desperate for the victory. They need to keep tabs on the Castleford Tigers, 3 points ahead of them in the Super League table. Well, the Bullman has arrived, and he has arrived in style tonight on the top of a fire engine. He comes in here in all sorts of shapes and sizes of vehicles, and tonight the Bullman is with the fire brigade. Terrific atmosphere as always inside the Oddsall Stadium. Let's take a check on the way the two sides line up. Bradford Bulls, they have Stuart Spruce at fullback, Vicona, Brooker, Naylor and McAvoy, and the two Paul boys at halfback, Henry and Robbie the captain. In the forwards, McDermott, Lowes, Anderson, Jamie Peacock, Stuart Field in second row, Mike Forshaw is loose forward. And on the bench for them, Leon Price, Paul Deacon, Hudson Smith, Lee Radford. That's formidable. The coach is Matthew Elliott. Now the men from East Yorkshire. Hull have Ben Samet at fullback, Craig Pouchers on the wing, Maiden and Collins in the centre, Dion Bird on the other wing. The 17-year-old Richard Horn is at standoff alongside the experienced Will Robinson. And the forwards, Luke Phelps, Mick Jenkins, Paul King, Steve Craven, Stanley Jean, and Tony Grimaldi, the captain, is at loose forward. And on the bench, it's a host of teenagers, 19-year-old Richard Fletcher, 19-year-old Paul Cook, 19-year-old Andy Last, and 18-year-old Craig Farrell, who will make his debut if and when he gets on. Coach, Sean McRae. So Hull emerge. They have been cruelly hit by injuries of late and lost at Salford last Sunday. Now they face the Bulls here tonight, and it's Wigan next Sunday at the Boulevard. The top 5 for them, well and truly, is on the line. But they've now lost their last 7 League and Cup visits to Salford. They have won more recently here at Oddsall than at the Willows. Their last win, 32 points to 30 in April 1994. They were the first team to deny Bradford a win this year. The 3rd of May, they drew 8-all at the Boulevard, 4 days after the Challenge Cup final success for the Bradford Bulls at Murrayfield. Tony Grimaldi has been an inspirational leader for Hull and Gateshead over the past couple of seasons. And despite their injury plight, good smattering of support on the terraces here to welcome the men, mainly in purple and black tonight, onto the field. but it's the Bulls that the vast majority of this crowd are here to see. Beaten here 2 weeks ago, 30 points to 18 by Wigan, but they beat London at the Valley last Sunday 24-18, back on top of the table. Their 31-game unbeaten home record has gone west. And the first win, by the way, in that 31-game unbeaten home run came against Hull. What price the Bulls starting off another long winning home sequence against the men from the Boulevard. But it's the people's team, the Bradford Bulls. He'll come out to the traditional now. Odsal, welcome. Ticker tape, firecrackers exploding in the air above Odsal. They are only here to see a victory, those Bradford supporters. And in the captain, Robbie Paul, a man in great form. 6 tries in his last 4 matches. 13 tries in all for Robbie Paul. Great atmosphere, as always, at Odsal on match night here. And the Bullman and Bull Boy, they are all ready. Match referee is John Connolly. He is ready as well. The Bulls in all white. They will attack as we watch from right to left. A big ask of Hull. Can they get on top of the Bulls early? Short kickoff from Henry Paul, looking for possession from the kickoff, but well claimed in the end. Terrific dive above all those Bradford players, and it was by Steve Collins who got possession for his team.
Well, they've thrown the gauntlet down straight away of the Bulls. That was a very short kickoff. They intend to get possession early. It's so important for this whole side to just ease their way into this game. If they can sneak a few points in the opening exchanges, they've got to try to force the pressure back onto the Bradford Bulls tonight.
Here's a key figure. Will Robinson gets it out to Richard Horne, and Richard Horne looking for the runner out wide, and that's great defence from the Bradford Bulls. Peacock was in there, Lowe's in there. There was no way through. Here's Robinson again, left-footed and over the top. Robbie Paul had read the script though. He allows the ball in the end to bounce into the arms of Stuart Spruce. Good chase by Luke Felch and Ben Samet though. And here now is Nathan McAvoy.
Not a bad little option there from the half-back Will Robinson. That's the type of tactics that can break down this very strong Bradford defence. I'm sure that Matthew Elliott, their coach, realises that last week down in London they got battered and bruised. It was a pretty rough encounter down there.
And it wasn't a terribly convincing performance, but I noticed on the teletext this week he's saying that they should blame the coach, not the players. Well, normally it's the players who take all the blame for the poor performances, although I suppose you ought to ask John Keir about that.
Well, that was pretty late. And a bit of a discussion going on in the background. That really was late. And the touch judge on, not surprisingly, I'm sure that he saw it.
Touch judge Frank Hawley has come off the touchline on this near side. And it was a late challenge by Mick Jenkins on the kicker.
The hooker launched himself there far too late. And you could see there he threw the right arm. A little bit of an exchange afterwards. Well, you hear the referee saying, John Connolly saying that it wasn't malicious. I'm not so sure about that. That wasn't what you could call just a lazy arm. It appeared to be lifted and swung.
A penalty from where the ball ended up in the arms of the Hull defender, Craig Poucher. And this is the first opportunity for Henry Paul to have a kick at goal. Henry Paul missed the 8-all draw in May at the Boulevard. He's played and scored in all 11 since. If he kicks this, by the way, it will be 100 goals for the season. 99 two-pointers so far. Now he's into 3 figures, and Bradford Bulls are off to a 2-point start.
A gift 2 points, really, but well spotted by the touch judge. The combination between the officials so important. Not so sure that Sean McRae would have been too impressed with the way that his hooker went charging in. We often say, get into the face of the opposition, but a little bit over the top there from Mr. Jenkins.
Hoping for inclusion in the Welsh World Cup squad, Mick Jenkins. Of course, we've made the point in the past that Wales do have the undoubted talent of Kieran Cunningham to call on in the hooking department, but Mick Jenkins, for all of that, anxious to take his place for Wales. This is Paul Anderson now from the kick-off. Hull going for a long kick-off deep into Bradford territory, and the sun in the face of the Bradford team as they try to work the ball out here. Good run from Peacock again, in outstanding form this year. Brian McDermott trundling the ball forward, 40 metres from his own line, put to ground. King in there, so too Jenkins again. Now then, Robbie Paul, and he finds Stuart Field, and that's a good tackle low down though by Stanley Jean. James Lowe scampering away from dummy half, Henry Paul taking it on, then it goes to Naylor.
Pretty solid defence as well. Bradford trying to keep this ball alive.
And Hull trying to slow Bradford down at every opportunity. Kick downfield will surely skip away over the dead ball line, and it does.
Well, it wasn't a good kick basically because of the pressure that was applied. So they're doing their job well, Hull in the defensive facet.
Henry Paul, 7 points now for 400 with the Bradford Bulls after that early penalty that has given us the 2-0 scoreline after 5 minutes of this match. Stanley Jean again. Anderson all round him, but he still gets the ball away. Good play. Here's Luke Felch.
Good play by the loose forward, Stanley Jean. Of course, can play second row as well. I think he backed down into the second row there. But he must stay as a type of player that offside, not back to 10. He's the type of player that is Stanley Jean that can create havoc against even the best of defences. Oh, with plenty to choose from there. John Connolly, the official.
So the penalty puts Hull deep inside the Bradford Bulls territory. King hands it on to Robinson. Here now is Horn. Big hole there. And a good job that Peacock closed it, because he was nearly through with Steve Craven. Dion Bird was the dummy half. Robinson to Horn. Wide then to Stanley Jean. And Jean just hauled down by Mike Forshaw, but he lost the ball. The ferocity of the challenge.
Big hit from Mike Forshaw, the loose forward. A pretty high one as well. Well, it seemed all right as far as John Connolly was concerned, but I got the impression that Forshaw went high and then had a bit of a reef at the ball. It appeared to be a Bradford player on the legs of Stanley Jean.
Here's Stanley Jean. Here on the red and white side of Humberside in his time, now playing, of course, for the black and whites, or the purple black and whites, as they are here tonight. That's a good run, halted by Poucher. It was from Stuart Fielden. Let's take a look at the way things have gone in all league meetings since 1973. Bradford against Hull, not a bad record, but not so clever here at the Boulevard. Just 5 victories for Hull in the 27 years.
Still in the football, you'll see that Poucher had the right hand in.
And of course, Bradford play at Odsal, not the Boulevard.
Well, we've seen very early in the exchanges, Eddie, that the ability that Bradford have with the 2 youngsters in the second row, Jamie Peacock, Stuart Fielden, they both run out wide into the centres, and it's going to be a difficult job to keep them out tonight.
That was a forward pass ruled by John Connolly.
Well, I don't know where he got that one from.
It's that one, I think. Well, it was
went backwards.
It actually came off Grimaldi, didn't it? Anyway, it's Hull who have the head and feed. Oh, that ball shot out the back of the scrum. Oh, dear me! McDermott was quickly out.
What a mistake. And I think it was James Lowe's right foot that came through. He's allowed to strike for it. I know that shocked many viewers. Shocked the fans here too.
Shocked the whole defence. This is Robbie Paul. He's found Brooker. Now James Lowe's. The ball to Anderson. Anderson on the charge. Big man. Takes a lot to bring him down. Took 4 on that occasion. Lowe's again. Switches the direction of the attack. Fielden now. To try and attack up the middle. Fielden. Almost there. That's the try line. Lowe's again, trying to pinch one himself. Held up, good defence from Hull this. Even though the big men are there, they have repelled them so far.
Three-quarters screaming for it out wide. Will they get it? Yes, they will.
They're moving it now with Henry Paul. Henry Paul shrugs off one would-be challenger. That was Naylor. This is McAvoy. Back inside it goes. Hull have got it back. That was good defence from David Maiden. Spruce says he's got it. Decision for the referee here. It's Hull's ball.
Good play there, Scott Naylor. Just offloading out to the winger. But as you mentioned, the centre David Maiden, who's made a big name for himself, normally at Hull this season at loose forward, has played in the three-quarters for most of his. Oh, that's going to be a penalty. No doubt about it. Stuart Fielding reefing the ball away. Pressure is off. See it here. Right arm. Trying to confuse the referee by using the left arm to lift the leg. That's a pretty high tackle. Maiden. But this was a good effort. McAvoy trying to keep the ball alive. Well, it's lively, Eddie.
It is, and the penalty means that Hull now are midway inside the Bradford half of the field. Robinson to Stanley Jean. And Jean, his hand was in the face then of Stuart Fielding, but Fielding and Anderson wouldn't be put off by the Papua New Guinean. Here's a little darting run now from Craven. Steve Craven, substitute for his last two. His first start for Sean McRae. Robinson running flat. Felsh, that went backwards. It's play on. Play on with Robinson. He's found Poucher. And Poucher trying to go round by Kona. Oh, but by Kona and Brooker too strong. And the teenager is bundled into touch.
How many times have we said that the three-quarter line on this Bradford outfit, they're as strong as a forward pack, and it was evident there. Super cover defence.
Well, he formerly had the colours of Hull on. He joined the Bulls in 1998. 79 tries for Hull in 59 appearances. Fantastic record. And he's pretty formidable down on this left flank for the Bradford Bulls. This, though, is Justin Brooker, and he's all wrapped up. Penalty. Interference at the play of the ball.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, Eddie. The Hull side decimated with injuries. They are trying to just mix and match it with the Bradford side, trying to slow things down.
Well, that's the key for them, isn't it? To
Certainly
slow them down,
and he knows it too.
And trying to knock Bradford out of their stride. That's McDermott, though, taking it on, and Felsh was the man who stood firm. Jean finished him off. Fielded now. 5 penalties in the opening 11 minutes. Forshaw back to Lowe's. Here's Robbie Paul. He's away from one. He's away from two. Oh, great play from Robbie Paul. Spinning all the way. Dumps the ball over the top to Brooker. Forward pass. Brooker thinks he's trying to improve the angle. But the referee was on the spot and pulls them back for the forward.
What a great run, though.
Yeah,
well,
drifted forward.
Just, and only just. In a good position, though, was the official John Connolly. But what an individual piece of skill there from Robbie Paul. Mentioned before this. Oh, nice break.
Great break from Collins. Good job that Naylor got a hand on him. Dion Bird was the dummy half for Hull. And here come Hull again in the shape of Dion Bird. He gets up and plays the ball to Jenkins. On it goes then to Robinson. Now it's with Luke Felsh once more, and Felsh is halted on the halfway line.
Robinson taking first receiver, controlling things out there. Oh, that's a bad mistake. Wasn't the best pass.
He did well to get a boot to it, though, did Collins.
Did he ever?
But what a save here from Anderson.
To be fair, it was the impact from the second row of Stuart Fielding that dislodged that ball. It was not a pass, really. Got to retain possession a little bit tightly than that.
Here's Jamie Peacock. 5 tries in his last 5 matches. And Hull, well, they haven't been able to get through their sets at all, have they? Sets of 6, only 1 completed so far. Here come Bradford again with Robbie Paul. Just dropped the shoulder, bounced away from Felsh, flicked the pass to McDermott. McDermott is wrapped up by Tony Grimaldi, the Hull captain. 20 metres away from the Hull try line. Lowe's waiting. Gets the ball, goes to the right-hand side and finds Henry Paul. Henry Paul trying to skirt away from Stanley Jean. Jean and Maiden and Craven all in there quickly to haul him down. Dab towards the in-goal area, that's wasted.
Far too heavy from the hooker. Jimmy Lowe's not too impressed with that. The idea was good. You could see that they were aiming for into the in-goal area. Well, this is a good effort by Hull. Their scrambling defence is holding out. They really have applied the pressure under Braford. They've been spinning the ball out wide at every opportunity. Full credit to the Hull side for scrambling back.
Indeed so. They're on halfway. Jenkins, low ball. He finds Robinson. He then gets it away to Horn. Good ball. And Maiden is hauled down by Henry Paul and Scott Naylor. A good job too for the Bradford Bulls. Here now is Robinson. Dabs it down, inviting the chase. And Spruce comes across to cut the danger out and does really well. And then off the ground, flips the ball to Naylor. And Naylor will run it further forward. Good chase back though by Maiden for Hull.
Confident football from both sides. Equal to the task, so Stuart Spruce swinging out from Jean. But good work from the fullback there.
Here's Vicona, gets the ball away to Lowe's. He in turn gives it to McAvoy. McAvoy then on to Henry Paul. And Maiden and Grimaldi tackling their hearts out at the moment for the Hull cause. And Spruce has joined the line again, offside. Offside against Hull.
Never made any attempt to go back there, and someone's back chattered. Steve Craven was the culprit that the referee picked out in regards to being offside as soon as he made contact. But
Robinson then having a word to say, and that will not please coach Sean McRae. 10 metres gained needlessly by the Bulls. McDermott, good tackling though again. Grimaldi in the thick of it with Craven.
How long can they hang on though?
Yes, it's all Bradford pressure. Robbie Paul, Mike Forshaw. Again, they get 3 to him. 3 men converge on the man in possession of the football. Lowe's comes down the blind side. Brooker, Justin Brooker, great strength from him. He gets Bradford to within 4 metres of the line.
All this scrambling defence, it takes a lot of energy away from you.
Robbie Paul saw a gap, darted through it, under the sticks. Robbie Paul. Well, he's in a terrific vein of form. That's 14 tries for the season. 2 tries in the home win against Hull here last year. Robbie Paul has certainly recaptured and rekindled the flames of '96.
They've run this whole defence ragged, and you can see there that they try to force him to spin the ball out wide. But once you leave a gap like that, this guy will certainly exploit it. Neat little twist to the body, it was sufficient. See how he just threw the dummy, stepped away, opened the gates, and he will score. Surely this will be a gift now to turn it into 6, which will make it 8.
Brother Henry with the conversion, bang in front, he doesn't miss those. Goal number 101 of the season for Henry Paul, and Bradford are ahead by 8 points to 0 here at Odsal.
See how Anderson will come back on the blind side, which is sufficient to just hesitate the defence, and when he makes the step, that's all it takes. Hesitation there. Jenkins could not fill the hole. Robbie in for number 1.
Well, a 3-year deal signed and sealed with Hull, with Bradford. He is here till the year 2003, and they will be delighted that he is on these terraces.
See the advantage there, even from the kickoff. That's the second occasion that Paul Anderson has ran the ball back. But his ability to attract 3 and sometimes 4 would-be tacklers means that there's gaps out wide. And you can already feel that Hull are getting a bit tired and confused in their defensive line.
Well, yes, as well as the players they've got out injured, you just wonder how many of these Hull players have brought niggling little knocks and injuries, which there must be at this stage of the season, into the game with them. Because Sean McRae says that Craig Farrell apart, and he's one of the youngsters he's brought in, this is the only 16 players fit on the Hull books that he could possibly have played tonight. Desperate times.
Certainly is, and they will pay the price if they can't just keep this one line of defence here. Good option though from Henry Paul. As we've mentioned so many times, of course, this is a Speedway stadium, so all the corners, they just rise up. And it's a good area to kick. The ball inevitably, most of the time, will stay in the in-goal area. Not on that occasion though.
Yes, it's a famous old ground this, but it will shortly, if plans go through, undergo something of a facelift. These are exciting times for the Bradford Bulls. This team on the field and a great crop of youngsters coming through as well.
Well, at least full credit to them. They're trying to keep the ball alive. You saw Richard Horne there's just fumbling with it. Big opportunity, though, for the 17-year-old.
Felsh dummy half.
When you play against the likes of Henry Paul, it's a big ask.
Good kick from Robinson, fumbled. Oh dear.
Just forced it.
Bit of a mess by Nathan McAvoy.
They'll take the knock-on first. Well, I think that may have gone backwards. He did force it. Well, I would have given that a backward knock-on, but either way, it would have been a dropout. He's convinced that he forced the ball, which would have been a dropout underneath the sticks. But a better advantage for Hull now.
Yes, they're 10 metres away. They have the scrum. They have possession with Horne, and he is Samet. And Samet is wrestled to the ground. Spruce in there quickly with Mike Forshaw as well. They still come this way with Richard Horne. And Horne trying to stand and brush the tackler off, but Henry Paul all over him. Jenkins with a little dummy. He gives it then to Craven, who was stood still when he received the football. And Brian McDermott all over the top of him. Jenkins again, they're camped underneath the sticks. It's with Robinson. Robinson waiting for the runner. It was Jean. Peacock waited for him. And along with a little bit of help from Paul Anderson, the Papua New Guinea international hits the deck. It's now with Horne. Wide it goes to Felsh. Oh, he missed that and lets it go to Collins. And Collins is collared by Henry Paul again. That's the last. Can Bradford hold out now? It's with Horne. He'll put the kick in. It's a good chase too. Oh, and Dion Bird was so close to that. The ball missed them all.
Good little kick as well from the standoff. But it was a huge gamble. Oh, to allow that ball going through. Dion Bird was charging down on that. Good combination.
Dion Bird, 70th Super League appearance, 30 for Paris Saint-Germain, 22 for Gateshead. It's his 17th for Hull.
He's having a fine season as well.
Lowe's, and away it goes to Peacock.
If you watch the whole defence, they're trying to come up quickly on the outside. They're trying to force Bradford down the single channel down the middle.
And they're trying to keep them on the ground as long as possible too, to stop the momentum. Look at Luke Felsh all over the top of Paul Anderson there. It's with James Lowe's now, and here comes Mike Forshaw. Trying to get away from Jenkins and does. Oh, that looked forward. Mile forward to Spruce. He's able to carry on though. The touch judge has seen it, has he? Got a very late call from his touch judge.
He called held and Spruce continued on. He missed the forward pass, which is there, and it was forward, but it was held there.
I can't see how that was held.
Neither can I, but the official John Connolly shouted held. Maybe he realised a little bit late on that it was a forward pass.
Maybe so.
Scales of justice.
Robinson to Richard Horne, and wide again it goes to Grimaldi. Ball back on the inside, a bit too elaborate. There'll be another scrum down here, a bit scrappy from Hull, and just couldn't take it in.
Well, it wasn't the best pass, was it?
Maiden with the shaven head.
Grimaldi just turning. When you turn your body so much like that, it's a real giveaway to the opposition.
Well, he's plotting, he's wondering, he's hoping.
Want to be quite happy. 22 minutes gone, only 8 points adrift.
Well, he has lifted the Challenge Cup with St Helens in 1997 against Matthew Elliott, and the Bradford Bulls have lost just 3 of 8 meetings head-to-head with Sean McRae since, in all his guises with all his clubs. So Matthew Elliott has a pretty good record, but Hull's missed tackle count is rising as the minutes tick by. 8-0 the Bulls, coming up to 23 on the clock. Henry Paul, Fielden, he had to turn as he picked that.
Stanley Jean bounced him down, the youngster's hurt.
Henry Paul, Robbie Paul, will hoist the kick out wide, looking for Tavita Vaikona. He palms it back inside to Brooker. Oh, it's good defence though.
With the turnover. Well, it gives you some indication of how strong this Hull defence is when Bradford are opting now to go for the kick into the corner.
Super tackle there from Steve Collins, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
Luke Felshuer's done a marvellous job for Hull this year, Gateshead last year. And so too has this fellow, Dion Bird.
Well, we said that Hull had to try to lost that.
Knock on.
Bad mistake. Well, he thought he was being interfered with. Not happy with it, but he really wasn't. Just lost control of it. That's a bad mistake. I was just about to say that Hull will be quite happy with the way that they've controlled things out there. It's a huge gamble when your centres out wide rush forward to force a team down one particular channel, but it's working, Eddie.
It is so far respectable at the moment for understrength Hull. 8-0, that's all.
Not happy with the ball, a bit too soft. Let's have one that's full of air.
Let's go! Let's go! Robbie Paul feeds and finds Henry. Angled run from Henry Paul. Great ball to Scott Naylor. Scott Naylor will get there. Terrific ball from Henry. Drew the defence, as he so often does. He just shows it with one hand and then flicks it like a bullet. And Scott Naylor was there. And Scott Naylor hits double figures for Super League. That's the 10th for him.
Super play by the standoff. He runs across the face of the defence and just offloads out wide. Hesitation in the defence there. They just took a split second to think, what's he going to do? And before you knew it, Naylor was on his way through for the second try. Outstanding combination. Wonderful skills. Just sucked them through. You could see how the centre, David Maiden, was pulled into the gap. It's allowed Naylor through an enormous opening.
And Henry Paul coming up with his third kick at goal. It's 3 from 3. And that little milestone of 400 points for the Bradford Bulls gets ever closer. He needs just 3 now to pass that milestone.
See how Maiden comes out of the line, leaves the gap, bang. And the passage that he went through, that's where Maiden should have been standing. But it's not easy when you're going towards and watching what Henry Paul has to do with the ball in his hand. Great season, Naylor. I think Mr. McRae knows it could be a long night at the office.
Yes, had problems in the build-up, although he did say that the training session yesterday went very well for this makeshift side of his. But a 14-0 scoreline and 26.5 minutes on the watch. Well, that was an almighty mess. Brian McDermott. Ball bounces and he knocks it back. But I think it's been adjudged. Go. And he's knocked that back in his own in goal, but he's jumped from the field of play.
Well, I think the official had got that wrong, Eddie, because if he jumped from the field of play, then that's fine. Certainly was nowhere near the whitewash.
So Hull are back in possession, and this is Craven. Jenkins is the dummy half, and it goes wide then to Horn. Good ball. Good ball. So back to Horn from Grimaldi. And it's now the Bradford defence turn to be on the back foot. Robinson. Back it goes to Craven. He straightens it up. Fielden and Anderson there. It's a good period of play this for Hull. Jean. Took a good tackle to deny him. Stuart Spruce came up with that. It was on the last, and that's the turnover.
Super defence by the full-back, Stuart Spruce. It had to be as well. But look at the power of Anderson coming there. Spruce went low. Anderson with the shoulder.
Bradford have it back, and it's with Henry Paul. Vicona.
Let's get a clean play of the ball.
Midway inside his own half of the field. Lowe's. And he has Forshaw busting a hole up the middle. Support is there. The support from Robbie Paul. Great chase backed up by
unbelievable speed there from Poucher. Looked all the world that Robbie Paul was going to go in.
Here's Brooker trying to exploit them out wide. Gene stood his ground.
Oh, he's injured, Gene.
And Gene got a bad bang on the head. Fielden on the last. Knock on. And Stanley Gene was in the ruck there, but he was absolutely flat out after the big tackle on Brooker.
Well, he put his body on the line there. Now, I think as he strained the leg, I think it's a leg problem. This was a good run from Forshaw, but what great work from Craig Poucher. He came from nowhere there. He's no slouch, don't worry, Robbie Paul.
He's up on his feet, but Stanley Gene looking a little bit groggy for all of that. But it was a terrific tackle. Not a certain try from Brooker, that's for sure. Robinson, big kick downfield, turning Spruce around. Very early in the tackle count there.
Thank you.
Here comes Spruce now. Then turns it inside to McAvoy.
Really close to a forward, that one. Well, there's one thing being confident, the other one being cocky, and that's certainly looked that way. The official, John Connolly, was so far behind, that's the reason why he never spotted it, and so were the touchdown.
Fielden got away from Stanley Gene on that occasion, but couldn't get away from Mick Jenkins.
They're starting to fall off the tackles now.
McDermott.
Difficult time now for Hull. They've got to try to keep their composure. They're throwing everything at them now at Braford.
Robbie Paul to Paul Deacon, who's on. James Lowes is flat out in back play. Kick to the in-goal area. Good kick too, but Dion Bird took the gamble. It was going to skip away, and it did. Lowes flattened. Incident off the ball. Crowd furious.
Certainly are, and I don't think he'll be too impressed either, will Jimmy Lowes? There's a pass, and oh, it was taken well out, far after the ball had been. Oh, that is ridiculous.
Jenkins.
We'll hear more of that. That is absolutely stupidity. We saw him do one early in the game, got away with it, benefit of the doubt. Well, that has not been seen by any of the officials, and we will see a lot more of that, and we will hear more of that. Little wonder that Jimmy Lowes not too impressed with the treatment meted out by his opposite, Mick Jenkins.
Meanwhile, a penalty given to Hull for stealing the ball, 2 men in the tackle, while Craven was on the deck. This is Richard Horne. Richard Horne, a glittering talent for the future. His first ever try for Hull came here last year in the defeat. It's with Felsch now. Felsch to the 20-metre line. And by the way, Horne on that occasion was just 16 years of age. Jenkins, oh, it was stolen.
No, he hadn't gone back to 10. It was a good, quick run.
Sorry to leave him alone, you didn't listen.
You can see that Mike Forshaw was in an offside position.
Well, 14-0 down, they're not going for 2, they want more.
Well, the one thing, they will not throw the towel in, will they, the Hull side? Decimated by injuries, but there's a great deal of pride out there.
Paul King to within 3 metres. Jenkins, not the best pass. And Craven, well, he got a fingertip to it. It was a poor ball, though.
Well, it was one of my 10-pin bowling shots, wasn't it? That finished up in the gutter, left nothing. Now then, did he get a fingertip to that? I think he might have missed that. I think Craven gave himself up.
Yes, it looked like he came off his ankle, didn't it?
Yeah.
They penalised for offside.
See it again. I don't think he got a touch with it.
Stay behind.
He just looked at his colleague and gave him up to the referee.
Yeah, it was discussed. Penalty, interference, Richard Horne.
Well, I think they'll have a bit of a chat here with the official. I think he's had enough.
Play the ball. Next one, you're on.
I think
He's
you heard
warned Tony Grimaldi, the Hull captain.
Hand
Any
on
more
the ball,
messing around?
clear the rope.
Somebody's in the bin.
Let's go.
I suppose you can't blame them. They realise that they are looking down the barrel of a pretty high score here.
6-5 on the penalties. So Bradford have been no angels.
But to be fair now, Bradford are getting over the advantage line. What was a very quick defence, that's back to 6.
Yes, wipes the tackle count clear, and Stuart Spruce has it for the Bulls.
Just saying, Eddie, that...
Oh, Grimaldi could be in the bin. Well, he's been warned. Grimaldi's been warned, and he's having 10 minutes.
Well, Grimaldi is arguing with the fact, because what he wants to do is, you're supposed to regain your feet. Now, I don't know whether the ball carrier did that. Now, did he get up straight? That's what they're saying. Now look, Spruce, they try to get up, but you're supposed to regain to your feet, then place the ball.
Well, I think he was on his feet, and I think Grimaldi was all over him, Steve.
Yeah, but the rule states you can't do it simultaneously. You have to regain your feet, bring the ball back up with your place, then place it back down.
Well, Grimaldi was certainly all over him like a rash, and that's why he's in the bin for 10 minutes. And here is Fielden pumping the hole up the middle. Well, it's gone from bad to worse for Hull. Robbie's taken over. This is elaborate stuff from the Braford Bulls, and Peacock will get a try. Jamie Peacock. Hang on, he's not given it.
He wants to see if there's any obstruction.
Because the post was in the way.
He couldn't see the ground. He wants to check it. And from our view, from up here and behind the sticks, as we watched on the TV screens, no problem.
No problem here, but I think he wants to have a look at the obstruction, does he?
No, grounding of the ball, that's all. Yeah. That's what he's called for.
Looks all right.
So Jamie Peacock, 5 tries in his last 5. Is it going to be 6 in 6 for Peacock? It is.
Beautiful work move as well.
Immediately Hull were down to 12 men. The Bradford Bulls found the holes, and Jamie Peacock goes in for try number 6 in his last 6.
Double combination of the crisscross. There's the first one from Lowe's, back on the inside. Wasn't intended to go that route, doesn't matter. This kid's in so good form. Need offload. Notice how Lowe's just spun around. That confused the defence. Not the best defence, that. I said they were tiring, and Peacock, his strength does the rest.
He has the extras, Henry Paul. That's 4 successful kicks for Henry, 20 points for Bradford. We're not at half-time yet. Problems for Hull.
Neat work. He really should have gone through that avenue where the referee John Connolly was. Took the long route, went via the seaside, still came up with the 4 points.
Good chase by Dion Bird, but McDermott was still able to get the ball away to McAvoy. Here is James Lowes. Wide it goes once again to the try scorer, Jamie Peacock.
I think the Bulls smell the kill here.
4 minutes to half-time. Deacon is on for the big man Anderson. Oh, another run up the middle. Fielden, he has got support, and it's arrived from Robbie. Robbie inside to Stuart Spruce. Spruce scores another. 2 in 2 minutes. The Bulls taking full advantage of the extra man they have on the field with Grimaldi in the bin. It's 24 points to 0. 2 tries in 2 minutes for the Bradford Bulls. Spruce with the latest.
Double shotgun yet again, back on the inside. Basic stuff. Deacon back on. Field in the break. Good support play. Outstanding rugby league football. Look at that. This guy, so strong. Support play. Excellent stuff. Henry says, take it to the full-back, and he does just that.
Spruce's try was laid on a plate for him by the run by the big forward, then by Robbie Paul, who could have made it to the line himself. Now this is a significant moment for Henry Paul. This kick to pass the 400-point mark for Bradford, which he does with consummate ease. And Bradford are easing their way to a 2-point lead at the top of the table. It's 26-0.
You see the 3 defenders go for Deacon. The one circle is slow to fill in. He can fend him off with ease. The strength, the power, the support, the juggling act. Keep the ball alive. The gaps will appear.
So 26-0 and still 2.5 minutes or thereabouts to go to half-time. That's a fumble, though, by Deacon.
Oh, he's knocked on, second knock on.
First one, I think, went backwards. It'll be interesting to see what the referee
Head and feed the
does.
balls.
Yes, head and feet to the balls. Well, he breathes a sigh of relief there. Was it Brooker or was it Deacon? It was McDermott's pass.
McDermott went through,
and
came
it was
off
Deacon, yes.
Went backwards. There'll be a few words said, I think, from Matthew Elliott, but when you've got a 26-0 lead, I mentioned midway through the first half that they were getting a little bit too cocky, but it's just outstanding rugby league football.
Well, 5 handling errors, 1 missed tackle for Bradford, and look at the tally on the other side of the screen. 6 and 20 for Hull. And remember, they've got 1 man off, their captain. Come to that, Tony Grimaldi. He is in the sin bin.
Been a costly sin bin as well. Oh, what a tackle. Dion Bird, body on the line.
Naylor felt that. It was a great groan. Good kick to the corner, though. Pouches after this and pouches it for Hull. Surrounded, though, by white jerseys. Nowhere for 19-year-old Poucher to go. And he's knocked on. Just the pressure of the situation. The Yorkshire Academy representative in 1998. This is his first Super League appearance this year. Welcome to the big time, young fella.
Well, you said he couldn't pouch it, couldn't pocket it either.
Well, he pouched it, then pocketed it, and then lost it. Well, the crowd are baying for more. They like nothing better than... Oh, and there's a strike that came out of the scrum, and that went against Bradford there. It went straight into the arms of Robinson.
Well, I don't believe it.
That's twice.
Jenkins has actually hooked the ball backwards. We saw James Lowe's kick out, and Hull got caught, but that went their way. That was an actual strike and a hook from the hooker.
Right on the stroke of half-time. His team are 26 points to the good, but the perfectionist Matthew Elliott doesn't look too impressed, and Sean McRae has got big problems as he makes his way over and back to the dressing room area. His team reduced to 12 men for 10 minutes, and it will continue like that in the second half because Grimaldi is still off when the match resumes in the second half. But Bradford running hot tonight, and they're ahead by 26 points to 0 at half-time.
Saturday, a night of boxing that will rock London's foundations. First, Adrian Stone takes on Jeff McCreesh. Noel Wilders defends his title against Paul Lloyd.
Amazing stuff.
Tom Boom Boom Johnson fights Scott Harrison. Plus, Vladimir Klitschko blasted out with Monty Barrett. Finally, the main event.
Lennox Lewis has done it.
Back in London to defend his titles against Franz Botha. Lennox Lewis tops the bill Saturday at 8, Sky Box Office.
Book before midnight tonight for the early price of $11.95. Call 08705 800 777. Cable customers contact your local operator.
You won! I'm so impressed. You really showed him a thing or two.
As you know, I'm not bothered. But women love a winner.
Worthington, it's a man thing.
New McFlurry is an irresistible mix of dairy ice cream and crushed chocolate. So irresistible, our staff are having special training.
Ladies pay their 99p, Linda. Give her the McFlurry.
New McFlurry. Heaven for you, but hell for us.
The way things go, you get so low, struggle to find your skin. Oh, hey ho, look out below, in prayer.
they say, broadens the mind, broadens the wallet, more like, especially when the local exchange rate carries more noughts than an Italian lottery check, which is why I travel light. Passport, toothbrush, MasterCard, leaving me free to savour the delights of airport food, or indulge in the age-old pursuit of buying amusingly shaped bottles of the local tipple that turn into undrinkable filth the second you get them home. Safe in the knowledge my card will be greeted with open arms, rather than an armed uprising. Think of it as your international passport to holiday pleasure. Without the hilarious student photograph, obviously.
This woman has just saved someone's life. Yesterday, she gave blood. Call 0345 711 711. Please.
How many men does Cornwallis have under his command?
12,000 redcoats.
This war will be fought among our homes. Our children will learn of it with their own eyes.
Boys, steady.
You really expect to stop him?
Not me. You.
From Columbia Pictures, a family.
Might I request, sir, that you transfer my son here under my command?
No war could divide.
I'll come back. I promise.
Mel Gibson, The Patriot.
Join the Voyager scheme from P&O Stena Line and you'll get at least 10% off every trip from Dover to Calais. P&O Stena Line, where time sails by.
More live cricket coming up for you this weekend. Another 2 matches from the triangular one-day international series. Tomorrow morning from 10:30, England take on the West Indies. And on Sunday morning, the West Indies take on Zimbabwe. Both games are live only on Sky Sports 1. Live and interactive only on Sky Sports Extra. That's Sky Digital Channel 404. Half-time here in the Super League, and the leaders well in control. 26 points to nil at half-time. Henry Paul's kicked 5 successful goals. Robbie Paul, his brother, Naylor, Peacock and Spruce with the tries. And the Bradford Bulls dressing room, and Matthew Elliott, he didn't look terribly impressed with the Bulls' performance in the first half when he was stood on the touchline at half-time. He's obviously made some notes, and he wants his men to push on and improve that points ratio in the second half. And poor old Sean McRae inside the Hull dressing room has got the devil's own job now to raise his men. Remember, they start the second half reduced to 12 because Captain Tony Grimaldi will begin the second half in the sin bin after he was caught lying on in the tackle. Not the greatest night for Hull, but Bradford, in the second half, we expect them, I suppose, now to come out with their full box of tricks and show us exactly why they are top of the table. They're playing well, and it's an uphill battle for Hull, Stuart, isn't it?
Yeah, they're playing very precise and accurate rugby league, Bradford. They're not giving Hull any chance, but there's been a few opportunities where Hull have had some territory and been able to, try to put some pressure on Bradford, but they look void of ideas, and I think that it showed that with the amount of guys they've got out, the disruptions they've had probably this week, they probably really haven't trained together, and it's showing when they get an opportunity to attack, they're really not giving, they really don't have any options, and I think it's showing in Bradford just have too much power, and, the Pools are on fire again.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you wouldn't come here with an understrength team if you could possibly plan it, would you?
Well, no, definitely not.
It's the one place you want to be full strength.
You've got to have all hands on deck, and Hull are paying the price for that, unfortunately. I mean, but that's what Super League's about. You've got to have a quality squad, and you've got to do the best you can with the players you've got. And I'm sure Sean will have them fired up. They'll come out in this second half, and they won't give up, these guys. That's for sure.
No, that's certainly the trademark of the Hull side, and Sean McRae won't allow them to give up. And once they get Grimaldi back on the field, well, we can expect a bit of a battle. But Steve-O, it was one-way traffic, really, wasn't it? Although, to be fair, in defence, Hull didn't shape up too badly at times.
No, in the early part, and it was good work from their coach because they were shooting out wide, they were trying to force Braford down the middle, and they were getting away with it. But as Eddie's mentioned, it was only a matter of time, wasn't it? And it was the mercurial sort of passing and keeping the ball alive. We see Robbie Paul. This was the forward pass, but it was a wonderful run to build up there from Robbie Paul, who was in absolutely sensational form. And this proved the point. One of the few times early in the game that they just hesitated. You see Jenkins just went out of the line. If you hesitate with this guy around, he took full advantage. And then it was Henry's turn, running across the face of the defence. Look how he threw that dummy. But it's the off-ball work. See how the dummy runner came back on the inside, left the gap there. Maiden went left a huge opening, and not surprisingly, Naylor went in for the try. This is the hit from Jenkins on Lowe's, and I can assure you, viewers, that you will hear a little bit more about that one. And then the Peacock try. Back on the inside, it was a double shuffle. Peacock really should have come where the referee was, but he found a different route. Same result, 4 points. And then this beautiful work from Deacon. Back on the inside, Fielden. Peacock, Fielden. Great youngsters. English too. We do have some great young talent. Great support play though. Spruce finished it off. And really, it is just going to be a matter of how many will Bradford ease off, or will Hull, like they did in the first 10-15 minutes, put up a good display, and I think they will. I think that Sean McRae will lift them. They know it's an uphill battle, but they will not throw the towel in.
Yes, the one thing that they don't want is a Salford, a 96-16, do they? And the competition, more importantly, doesn't want a 96-16 here.
Yeah, it would be disappointing if something like that happened. I'm hoping that won't happen. I'm sure Sean, will pick out some of the areas that they've let themselves down, especially defensively. They missed a few crucial tackles where they probably haven't read the play, and you've really got to hold your line against Bradford and make your one-on-ones. And if they can do that, then and also come up with a few ideas, in attack. Maybe they could, get back on the scoreboard and make it a respectable game at the end of the day.
But I suppose when you're missing tackles and when you're being sucked into three men and then they're offloading the ball, it's going to take its toll, isn't it, come late in the day?
It is. Bradford are so big, so strong. Their offload game is superb, and they've got, they've got two great sniffers in the Paul brothers and some great finishers. So, Hull really have to dig in and make their tackles, and hopefully they can do that.
But I think we can expect some tricks from Bradford in the second half. They are league leaders, Steve-O. We've all praised them to the heavens. The next 40 minutes, let's see just how good they are.
Yeah, well, I think he showed his hand very, very early, didn't he, Matthew Elliott, when he threw Deacon onto the pitch. It's the depth that they have here. They have a very, very strong bench. And I think that when you've got a strong bench like that, then you are fighting for places. Don't worry, there's a lot of fighting amongst the players in the right manner, of course, and that's what makes Bradford so strong. They won't just ease off, I can assure you. They will be going for big points in the second half.
Well, amazing when you consider the likes of Michael Withers, David Boyle and Brad Mackay missing from this Bradford lineup tonight. We've harked on a If Hull lose here, remember, it gives them a chance, if they can beat the Blue Sox on Sunday, to increase their lead over them in the race for the 5. It's 26-0 at half-time. Looks good for the Tigers. immediately they're up and running. Peacock, one of the scorers of the tries in the first half, takes the tackle from Dion Bird. Henry Paul, the dummy half. McDermott, good tackle though, great tackle. Still down to 12 men. Captain Tony Grimaldi starting the second half in the sin bin. McAvoy's gone without the football.
Well, that'll be a relief for the Hull side. They can just cart it through, go through the set of 6. Hope that they can get their skipper back on the field.
Jenkins waiting at dummy half. Misses out Craven and finds Robinson. It goes wide then to Steve Collins. Flying tackle by his opposite number 14, Justin Brooker. Here's Stanley Jean. Stanley Jean, a belligerent player. Named first of all tonight in the loose forward role, but playing second row. It's with Robinson, back on the inside it goes. And good tackle on Paul King then.
Pretty strong defence there from Braford. They only missed 1 tackle in that first 40 minutes.
That will please their coach, Matthew Elliott. This won't. That's a try. Luke Felch has got over. Luke Felch with the try for Hull, but the referee hasn't given it yet. He wants to check whether the grounding was A-OK, because Felch had to stretch out from this side of the whitewash, and John Connolly wisely hands it on to the video referee for clarification, just in case.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, no problems.
That was good work as well. You'll notice how Stanley Jean comes back on the inside. It was a superb offload and well run onto the football there. That really has stunned the Braford players and, of course, this huge Bradford crowd. That was excellent build-up, fully deserved.
And the try is given. Luke Felch, he really has been a hero. A towering figure for Sean McRae at Gateshead last year, and is doing the same at Hull, ever present in 2000.
Great work from the hooker Jenkins. Run across the face of the defence. But watch how Stanley Jean comes back on the inside. It was enough to just make them hesitate. James Lowe's, they hesitate, and he takes the 4 points on offer. Good build-up, good try. That'll lift their spirits.
So Ben Samet, good goal kicker for Hull this year. Ian Heron out injured. This is 50th appearance in the British game. 7 goals for 100. 6 goals for 100 now for Ben Samet. And Hull are on the scoreboard, 26 points to 6. And they deserve that for all their hard work and graft.
Jean comes back on the inside towards the post. Look how the defence just hesitates. Neat little offload. Felch, that was tremendous stuff.
Great servant, Luke Felch. 26-6. Early moments of the second half. Not the start that Matthew Elliott wanted, I'm sure. Let's get the news of what was said in those dressing rooms at half-time. Here's Bill.
Well, that certainly wasn't on Matthew Elliott's script, Eddie, and I wonder whether the Hull FC have just poked the hornet's nest with a stick there by scoring that try, because Elliott was wanting his side to step it up in the second half. Reckon that the Bulls had only been playing 3/4 pace for that first half, and reckon there's a bit more to come from them. So that could be ominous for Hull FC. It was a pretty philosophical Hull coach, Sean McRae. He knew that his side were up against it from the outset, and so it has proved. He doesn't think the officials have done them too many favours with some of their decisions. He doesn't think that his defence has done the side too many favours either, but points out that they haven't been caught out wide, so they've done well. He's looking for more effort in this second half.
Well, that will certainly give them the lift that they were looking for, and it's Hull who are throwing the ball around with Gay abandoned now. Grounded though on the halfway line on the last tackle, and it's with Richard Horn. Little stab over the top, that's inventive play. Henry Paul had read it though, and then he flicks the pass out wide to Tavita Vicona. Now against his former club, Poucher though stands his ground.
Neat little effort. Good thinker as a youngster, 17 years of age, Richard Horn.
Penalty to the Bulls.
Take your time, take your time, take your time.
He's getting a little bit tetchy out there. He's been involved in quite a few incidents, hasn't he, Mick Jenkins? Certainly won't take a backward step. There was definitely over the top of the shoulder. And Mr. Brooker didn't like it. Well, yeah, that's a third.
6 inches lower, so you don't end up round his neck. You do much damage.
Grimaldi is back, so Hull back to 13.
6 inches lower.
He's taking the lecture from John Connolly with Mick Jenkins.
I'll do it right.
Well, surely
just leave off.
it will get through his bonds, that he's got to get that arm down. I think he's already in a bit of trouble. The off-the-ball incident on his opposite, James Lowe's. I'm sure we'll hear something about that on either Monday or Tuesday.
Penalty count is rising against Hull. 5 minutes into this second half. This is McDermott. Plays the ball to Lowe's, wide to Vicona. I'm sure he would give anything, the Tongan, to get over for a try against Hull, the club he really made his name with. Oh, that's scrappy play though. Fielden puts it down. No advantage for Hull, even though they claimed possession. They were another 5 or 6 metres towards their own post, so the referee will put the scrum down.
Well, I don't think Fielden was supposed to get that. He was supposed to be the dummy runner. James Lowe's either lost the plot or it was Mr. Fielden. Either way, it allows Hull the possession, slow things down yet again.
Here comes Stanley Jean once more.
The hardest thing, Eddie, is that when a side goes in at half-time with such a commanding lead, irrespective of what your coach tells you, it's problematic in as much that rather than play as a team and support, there are certain players try to do everything individually, and it goes against you.
Penalty here and interference in the tackle there as it was completed. Lowe's hauling him back. Jenkins. And Bradford now have been warned by John Connolly.
Well, I think it was more to the fact that Fielden left his left arm there, dragged the ball out when he tried to regain his feet.
It's their poor away record this year that will maybe cost Hull at the end of the day. They've lost 6 from 9 away from home this year, but they are making a fist of this second half, and that at least will give encouragement to Sean McRae. Charging run here from Craven again.
Braford down to 12. Someone's receiving treatment in the back play. He's trying to get back now. I can't just see who it is.
Grimaldi with a little kick through. Spruce is there, picks it up, but he's trapped in goal. The chase came in from Maiden. I think it's Lowe's, is it, who's down? James Lowe's back on his feet and being led underneath the post, and he's actually just raised the elbow to John Connolly. He's complaining that someone got him in the throat.
Doesn't look too happy. One thing that the Hull coach Sean McRae will be happy with is he reckons he caught it whilst a big fellow was going and carrying the football. He said that he raised the non-ball carrying arm.
Yes, Jimmy not terribly impressed with that. The drop out to halfway. Horn hands it on to Jean. Jean drives it in again. Fielden had to stand his ground once more. Jenkins, it's a good start to the second half, this. Here's Craven again.
Well, if they can sneak over for another try, the one thing I will guarantee you is that Mr. Matthew Elliott will be coming down to the sideline. He won't be too impressed with this.
70-30 in the second half for the Hull side. And it's with Horn. Nice couple of dummies there. But in the end, the defence got to him. Here is Robinson. Robinson back on the inside to Jenkins. Then it goes wide again. This is Collins. Well, you would imagine if you were a stranger walking in here at half-time that Hull were the team leading by so many. But Hull in possession again with Robinson. Another stab towards the in-goal area.
Too long.
And it's just too long.
Well, the idea is certainly there, and full credit to their coach Sean McRae. He's obviously told his charges that, OK, we may not be able to get through this pretty solid defence by brute strength, but the skills of Will Robinson, the little short kick, and of course we've seen one already from the standoff Richard Horn. And confusion is reigning through this Braford outfit.
Justin Brooker comes to the sidelines as that first tackle, this set of 6, is taken by Brian McDermott, and he's replaced by Leon Price.
Well, what Bradford Bulls have to do now is just go back to basics, use their strength.
Now that from Naylor, ball down by Maiden, just inside his own half of the field. Here's Deakin. Deakin, good ball, big hole. Robbie Paul. Robbie Paul looking wide. It's with Price just on. Price releases it. Wonderful play. He's held up though, is he? Or did he get the ball down? It's Stuart Spruce, and the referee will hand it on to the video referee to check it out.
Well, it certainly deserved a try, didn't it? He's seen whether he's grounded first. I think that he was held up. Momentum, if it stops, then that's the end of it. He's still trying. I think he's held up. This could be a penalty to Hull. Second effort. I think momentum is sufficient.
Well, he got the ball down eventually. The question is,
how long is he going to allow it? Now, remember, this is slow motion, so it looks a lot longer than in actual real time. Well, maybe the video referee may go for TRY. I'll go the opposite. No, they always seem to go against me.
well, Spruce is looking, and the Bradford fans think he scored, but he hasn't. And the scrum goes to the attack because Stuart Spruce was held up over the line.
Well, it would have been a handover. It wasn't on the 5th, but surely that has to be deemed, if it's not a try, it's going to be a double movement, hasn't it? Well, it's deemed, it's deemed that it stopped.
Yes, he was held up, and the tackle was completed on his back.
But if it continues, it's a double movement.
Wait, hold his mouth.
Yes. Well, Jenkins
pretty rough, yeah.
Down.
Jenkins caught a stray head, or was it
from Deacon?
I think it may have been a fingers flicked in the eye or something of that nature.
Didn't want to make sure you trampled over him.
Oh yeah, it was the elbow. Ooh, he felt that, did the hooker, but he's as tough as teak, this fella.
Peacock.
Oh, he's taking another one.
Jenkins in there again. Well, you say he's as tough as teak. He is. Look at him getting back into the defensive line as though nothing's happened. McDermott spinning his way. McDermott, all hands to the pumps for Hull. And he's just held up, and then he falls gracefully. Just next to the try line does Brian McDermott. Lowe's dummy half. Back it goes to Deacon. They give themselves some width. It's with Robbie Paul. Oh, he just delayed too long. Maiden got to him.
Good tackle as well from the centre, David Maiden.
Well, the referee said play on, play on. The tackle was not completed in his view.
You could have played over past it.
Here's Fielden now. Fielden on the last. Lowe's looking round, seeing what the options are, taking it on himself.
He grounded it with a dropout.
Yes.
The stakes are floating.
Got to it first, Ben Samet.
Well done, lads.
Not much individual stuff from Jimmy Lowe's during this game. And when there's a mistake like this, doesn't help the whole cause. Ben Samet, who's worked hard this year, been put under a lot of pressure when you're a fullback with a side that's been up and down throughout the season. Means you have to do quite a lot of work.
Well, not the opening to the second half that Matthew Elliott would have wanted, but he won the title in '97, got the Bulls to Wembley in '97, Grand Finalist '99, the Cup win in the year 2000. Now he's aiming to emulate his old mate Sean McRae with a Cup and Super League double. It was achieved in '96 by McRae at St Helens. But this is Deacon now. Oh, and the pass to Forshaw was a little bit ambitious. And Forshaw, to be fair,
he took his eyes up.
Holds his hand up.
Nothing wrong with it. Good offload there from Deacon. He should have taken that. You could see there that he took his eyes off the football, more intent looking at the man coming towards him. Well, it's a real stop-start affair. He'll be happy with that, Sean McRae. He's leading the second half. Something to be proud of.
Hull with possession from the scrum. Robinson to Horn, and it comes wide to Maiden. Wrestled to the ground by Naylor.
Naylor tried to pinch that ball, nearly got away with it too.
McAvoy was all over the top of him. Good defence. Super defence. Felt all of that, did Richard Fletcher. His first touch as he came on. This is great defence from Bradford.
Well, that last tackle has lifted the crowd. They have now started to sing. It's been a long time since they've been doing that, I can assure you.
Grimaldi down a blind alley. Takes 3 to bring him down, though. Good defence on show here. They're 30 metres away from their own line, that's all. Kick from Horn. Got it in despite the attention from Fielden, Vicona has collected it. Stanley Jeans after him. Oh, good chasing down by Hull. Terrific.
Outstanding.
McAvoy.
Well, full credit to this Hull side. They were staring down the barrel of an enormous scoreline.
And now it's 26-6. And Bradford having a problem. Peacock. Lowe's was the dummy half. It goes back to Deacon. His kick was charged down. That's play on, because Grimaldi has it back for Hull.
Oh, silly play. It took an eternity to get that ball away, though.
Go away.
Robinson not happy. Well, that was silly of Robinson.
Well, you can't do that.
Nope.
That was the edict at the start of the season. Not allowed.
No interference with any player in and around the ruck area. Silly play there from an experienced player like Robinson.
Craig Farrell has come on for his debut, the young 18-year-old, number 28. And ooh, that penalty just sailed over the top of the youngster. Well, Deacon's kick was charged down, and he was relieved, I think, to get the penalty in the end. And here come Bradford again with Fielden on the charge down the right-hand side. Lowe's to Deacon, Deacon to McDermott. It's good scrambling defence, though, from Hull. You have to give them credit for this. It's with Spruce now, who's chimed in. Spruce! Oh, now was he held? That looked a double movement, and it was.
It was. Ball carrying arm. He just lost the plot there, did the fullback Stuart Spruce. He really should have put the left arm down, but he didn't. Instead, he put the ball carrying arm. Watch it. That's it. End of story.
Yes, if the ball carrying arm is grounded and he was held, which he was,
back to Hull.
The referee has wiped the tackle count down now for Hull.
There's no advantage.
Well, no advantage.
That's two no tries for Spruce in the second half. Ooh, over the top there by Vicona. Well, I must say that John Connolly, the official, has been extremely lenient with some of this high tackling. Not even a penalty given there.
Here's Richard Hall now for Hull. Tackled by Leon Price. Young Player of the Year last year, Leon Price, and surely a candidate for this year, the 17-year-old Horn. And I think you made the point off the air, Steve-O, about the bench for Bradford. Price, Deacon, Smith and Radford. They would all want to be, they'd be itching to get on the field, won't they? And we've seen Smith now, we've seen Deacon, and we've seen Price. They'd be itching to get on the field and show what they can do in this star-studded Bradford lineup.
Well, of course they will. They were so disappointed with the loss in the grand final last year. They must feel pretty confident they'll go pretty close this year. And that's what they're after. They're after that winner's gold ring. It's the ultimate.
Well, the whole club came into this match with injuries aplenty, and rather think that the toll is mounting. Bill.
That's right, Eddie, because Dave Maiden has had to come off with what looks like a bad arm injury. He's got ice on it at the moment. He picked it up about 10 minutes ago, played on with it, but eventually had to give way. On has come Craig Farrell, a big day for the teenager. Encouragement for other academy players, and I know there'll be a few down at Loughborough University this evening watching this game. They're on a special weekend camp with Malcolm Reilly, the pick of the England academy team, and they'll take great encouragement from Craig Farrell's appearance.
I'm sure they will, and we all do, from the growing list of young players that are making a name for themselves in Super League. And the first crop of the youngsters indeed at Bradford is starting to come through. Behind this first choice 17, men like Alex Wilkinson, Gareth Hanford, Rob Parker, Paul Sykes. The future looks very bright, as it does for Craig Farrell and the youngsters at Hull. Here's one of the youngsters, Deacon. Gets it away to Henry. Here's Forshaw. It's opened up in the middle. Hudson Smith takes over from Naylor. but the scrambling Hull defence is making it so difficult for the league leaders. Every time it opens up, they shouldn't suddenly snap the door shut. Chip over the top, Deacon on the run, Samet gets it, but great chase down by Deacon.
Be a drop out. Wonderful play. That's much better. That will please their coach, Matthew Elliott. They're getting back into the swing of things now, rather than brute force. Neat little chip over from Henry Paul. With a never-say-die attitude of the substitute Paul Deacon. That will lift his spirits, Matthew Elliott. Rather surprisingly, just before half-time, looked anything but impressed.
Well, he obviously thought, according to Bill from the sideline at the start of the second half, that they were playing three-quarter pace.
Well, a big advantage with the Braford side for most part of this season has been their ability to rip sides apart in the last quarter.
Well, can they do that here tonight? Not with tenacious tackling like this from Hull. And we're approaching the final quarter of the match. It's now with Deacon, though, and wide it goes to Robbie, and Robbie has skirted round them again. Wide to Price. It was brilliantly picked up, but he's lost as he put the ball down. The referee's going to check this on.
To me, it looked like it was a one-on-one. He stole the ball backwards, and the man running through an offside, running the ball. Just make sure it's right.
Well, I'm surprised that Robbie didn't go all on his own. He went for the right option. It hits a Hull player by Kona. Certainly didn't get it down. Samet reached it out, so this will be a try. Be a gift for Price.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yep. He's come from an onside position. But Robbie Paul, again, very unselfish. He had the line at his mercy then, although he did have a defender in front of him.
Well, he came off Craig Poucher, so that was play on anyway. But good thinking by Price. Doesn't matter how you score them, it'll count. Go on his try scoring list.
So Leon Price looking to see if he has been given the 4-pointer by the referee, and he has. Video referee says that's a try.
Well, rather fortunate, but the speed from Robbie Paul as he went through was quite outstanding. Just how they run the ball there. Look at the jink in and out. Super stuff. Unselfish. He probably would have made it. Well done by Raikkonen, but no doubt about it, the ball was whipped away, and Price was so quick. Well, we mentioned the fact they have the ability to just rip sides apart. Look at the skill on that. In and out. Robbie Paul, well and truly back to his international best. He did well to try to get that ball away, but this man was lurking.
Leon Price off the bench. It's his 50th appearance, and that's his 4th try of the campaign. Now, Henry Paul's got 5 from 5 with the boot. This is the most difficult tonight. This for 6 from 6. Oh, what a kick from Henry Paul. 32 points to 6. The Bradford Bulls.
Put it down to the sheer silky skills. Look at that, in and out. Stanley Jean was just left standing. Ben Samet tried his best and nodded the head from the coach. That's better. He knows there's quite a long way to go.
Well, he's in fine form with the boot, is Henry Paul. Bradford are 32 points to 6. Paul Anderson has come on for Brian McDermott. Such is the strength of this Bulls squad, and there he is, the big fella. Jenkins, though, he never shirks it, does he?
He never will, actually. It's really has been an amazing rise to prominence.
Lovely ball as he fell. Oh, another one. McAvoy's got the legs. McAvoy's got another try. Quicksilver attack. They're getting them in twos. Bradford, they got 2 in a minute in the second half. That's 2 in 3 minutes in the second. 2 in a minute in the first, 2 in 3 in the second. Bradford on fire.
Outstanding play, attacking deep from within. Wonderful offload. Forshaw did everything right. McAvoy has all the speed. Stanley Jean tried, couldn't match the youngster. Outstanding play. Henry Paul made the bust. Forshaw supported. concentrated, edged on the face. They serve it up at 3. Sheer brilliance. The two Paul brothers have displayed all the skills, especially the stepping skills tonight. Well finished by McAvoy.
4 tries for Nathan McAvoy at Odsal against Hull last year. Henry Paul's missed with his first kick of the night. It's 36-6.
Sliding defence, you see the two circled, they're failing to fill in. It's a sign of a very tired defence and an eager, superb support team work. Good team effort. Again, that will please Matthew Elliott. But it took the silky skills, did it, of one of the Paul brothers yet again.
Yes, they are in fine form this year, those two. Well, man of the match, it's time for you to express your view. Sean McRae and his coaching staff will have their opinion. See if you can match it. 09009 10 10 13. And the prize is a couple of tickets to the grand final at Old Trafford on the 14th of October. Plus, your name will go forward into the draw at the end of the season for the big box on the night at the Theatre of Dreams.
It's becoming like basketball now. They're getting halfway through the tackle and having the ability and the upper body strength to offload.
Yeah, they're starting to run out of gas, Hull. Oh, what a pass from Henry Paul. What a beautiful ball on the inside to Fielden. Here's Lowe's. This is Spruce. Wide is McAvoy. McAvoy! Just short.
Did well not to lunge second time.
Oh, and they've got one now, have they? But they've got to check whether they're onside or offside. Stuart Spruce thinks he scored.
Well, he could get a hat-trick of no tries in this second half if this goes against him.
And it could easily go against him, this. It's slide rule time for the video referee.
Well, it was a good kick from Lowe's. He's onside.
He looks like he might be.
Yep. Well, he scored one in the first half, did Spruce, just before the half-time break. He's had 2 turned down by the video referee, but I think he'll go positive. TRY. Good work from the hooker. Little doubt from that angle.
Well, if he gets this positive decision from the video referee, it's the second try of the night for Stuart Spruce. Checking all the angles before he makes his decision. As you say, if this goes against him, he could have a hat-trick here of no tries in the second half. Spruce waits, we all do. The try's given. Stuart Spruce gets his second try of the night, and the ball's hit the 40 mark. The Bull man and the Bull boy delighted. So is Stuart Spruce.
Good thinking from the hooker. It was the man that built it up. McAvoy did well. He must be tempted to get so close. Got to play the football. It was a planned move. Spruce knew exactly where he was going. They've worked this one out on the training paddock time and time again. That is outstanding.
Well, he missed all of June, did Stuart Spruce. Henry Paul's just missed with one kick on the other side. He's now missed with one on this.
Henry, one of the expensive as well.
40 points to 6 though, Braford Bulls. The best attack and the best defence in Super League. No wonder at the top of the table.
Well, this is the sort of try that brings a big smile to the coach, and I'm sure that Matthew Elliott will praise that man for scoring. But the combination, Jimmy Lowe's, it's quick thinking like that. Okay, it may look easy in a game where you're in full control, but at least you know it works, and maybe they could trot that out in a vital game when things are pretty tight.
I think Bill said when they scored the try at the start of this second half, maybe they had poked the stick in the Hornets' nest. Well, the Hornets are buzzing now. Here's Anderson. Oh, look at him go.
Again,
so difficult.
Again, 3 men attracted to him. Not only does it suck in the defence tighter, but it just takes the energy out of the defence.
Here he goes again. He's ridden that one, but it was a good ankle tap in the end.
Hasn't stopped yet. They call it full power, and that's what we're witnessing at the moment.
Henry Paul thought about flinging the ball out wide, but the whole defence had moved up in a dish to stop that going. So he had to come back this way. Here's Lowe's, and here's Spruce again. Kick over the top, looking for Deacon and Fielden. Deacon and Fielden. The whole man wins the race. Brave defence. And it was Paul Cook, was it, who got there first?
Well, the combination, utilising the fullback Spruce and Deacon there.
Well done, well back.
Deacon and Fielden were pushing and shoving each other out the way. They both wanted it.
Well, there was only 2 Cooks there, but it was the right Cook that got there in the end. The one that was christened Paul Cook.
Stay behind, stay behind.
I'm just trying to work out where the other 2 Cooks were.
Well,
the
2 Cooks spoiled the broth. Oh, dearie me.
Okay, so there were 3 Cooks there, not 2.
2 Cooks to start with, and then spoiled the broth.
Yes.
And the real Cook, I
Cooked
wonder
it.
sometimes.
Here's Fielden, he's broken through. Fielden scores another. Sheer power. Steve-O mentioned it earlier. Bull power. And it belonged on that occasion to Stuart Fielden. Well, the smiles say it all. He's battered, he's bruised, there's no smiles there.
Sadly for the Hull coach, Sean McRae, this is not a boxing match. No chance of throwing the towel over the top of the ring, because I can assure you, they are battered and bruised. They are out on their back. The knockout punch has arrived. And I'm afraid the referee, which is John Connolly, there's nothing he can do about this. It is awesome.
Attempts, 46-6 now to the Bradford Bulls. In full control. And thirst for success on the field is absolutely unquenchable.
Stay behind, yeah. Ben, wait behind.
It's a long, hard road to full time yet for Hull. 4 tries in 10 minutes. What a scoring burst. Oh, and the youngsters like Andy Last there getting bowled over by this Bradford machine as they roll forward. There's another man injured in back play. The ball has come out, it went backwards.
Hull down at 12.
I'm not sure it's Mick Jenkins again. He's on all fours, whoever it is.
I think it might be Jenkins, the hooker.
It is, and he's in the wars, isn't he, today?
Has he hit the deck?
Or is it Andy Last?
No, it's Jenkins.
Is it Jenkins? Yeah. Well, what do they have to do to knock this man out? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Keeps coming, and we caught the knee. I think they need an elephant gun.
Well, he's finally waving the white flag by the looks of things, Mick Jenkins. He goes off.
Ironic cheers from the Bradford crowd.
Well, remember, this lot have got Wigan next weekend. Sean McRae will hope that 1 or 2 of the wounded are back for the visit of the Warriors. Here's Samet. Now it's with Collins. Credit Hull, they are not turning it in yet.
Well, a message from Matthew Elliott would be make sure that they do not score again. Oh, bad knock on. Not the best pass though, to be fair.
Richard Fletcher, 19 years of age. They'll all learn by this experience, but it's a painful lesson that they're learning tonight.
Well, Grimaldi, the skipper, trying to keep the ball alive, and you're right, Eddie. And often you look down a big loss. It makes it a lot more sweeter when you start winning.
Just less than 10 minutes to go. Still the lines are open for your man of the match, folks. 09009 10 10 13. Oh, that ball was stolen, but it was one-on-one. Radford has lost it. Samet's got it back.
Samet reefed it back, and that's play on. Good play from the fullback. There's one definite way of stopping Braford from scoring, and that's half possession.
Hand off the ball, Deep.
And Felsh, inevitably, still out there going strong.
Play the ball, get off the hand off.
Here's Paul King.
That was late. Certainly for the touch judges helped him.
Yeah, touch judge gave him the signal, and the touch judge was helped by about 12,000 Bradford supporters behind him.
Just overrun it a little bit, didn't he?
Andy Last, captain of the Alliance team this year at the Boulevard. Henry Paul, Naylor is wide. Try and go round Dion Bird, and that's a difficult job.
He has done a good job though as Dion Bird. Not the easiest man to put down, Scott Naylor.
Everything sticking at the moment for Bradford. Robbie Paul has got an injured knee by the looks of things. That's why he's off. Anderson's on though.
And again, good defence from Bird. Oh, he's gone down now.
Every time a Hull player hits the deck, Sean McRae must wince. Oh, and enjoying this now, the Bradford crowd. Lows. Every pass is being cheered to the rafters. Deacon, oh, out wide for Vicona. Well claimed. Well claimed by Poucher, but he's bundled over the line.
This was like the 644 from Houston hitting. Bang.
Houston? Oh. Is that a stagecoach?
It's in America.
The 644 from Houston.
It's a long way.
It's a long way from Houston.
It's an expensive ticket too.
McAvoy.
There's no cheap one-day returns on that one.
Here's McAvoy stepping through the tackles. Oh, strength. Samet says have it. Second try for McAvoy. And Samet was thinking of making the tackle, and in the end just said, here, take the fall. Well, the train from Houston might be late, but Nathan McAvoy has come up with his second try of the evening.
Well, none of the whole defence could derail him, that is for sure. Sheer strength, look at this. They are an extremely tired outfit. Full credit to Hull. They have tried their hardest. Speed, strength, the size of this Bradford side.
Yes, Nathan McAvoy is one of the three quarters. He's a winger. Only try in the 8-3 win at the Boulevard last season in March, Nathan McAvoy, but 4 tries here, as I said earlier, at Odsal last year. It was a career best for him, so he's now managed 2 tonight. Seems to enjoy playing Hull. Matthew Elliott, job well done, little wave from Robbie. Well, playing with a smile on his face when he's on, and even though he's got a bang on the knee, still with plenty to smile about, Robbie Paul. And here comes Henry now. The Bulls have hit the half century, and he's hit the post. 50 points to 6. Problems for Tony Anderson and Sean McRae, and a big smile at last from Matthew Elliott, the Bradford Bulls coach. There must have been a joke down there on the sideline, I think, or maybe he just looked at the scoreboard.
Well, will they go for more, or will we have the situation that we saw a while back when Neil Cowie went for a field goal? Anything can happen out there. Will it be Anderson?
Oh, it's gone from bad to worse. Kickoff's out on the full. It's a night Hull will want to forget.
Went miles over. You see all the Bradford players shouting, let it go, let it go. Oh, and that's a magnificent kick into the corner.
Huge penalty, and here come Bradford again. Naylor, Deacon, oh, the ball dropped. Well, it's 50 points to 6. I don't suppose it really matters.
Should have taken it. Again, just that vital second. They take their eyes off that white football.
Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's attendance.
Basic mistake.
Steve Collins now for Hull. We're inside the last 4 minutes.
Incredible football this evening.
And these youngsters from the Boulevard getting their taste of Super League in the big Odsal Bowl against the big Bradford Bulls side. Jean, that was a good tackle needed by Fielden.
Good hit as well. He felt that, did Stanley.
Grimaldi. Oh, and the news of Dion Bird will not please Sean McRae. He apparently has got a suspected broken hand. He has gone to the dressing room, and it just goes from bad to worse.
Well, that is poor reward for his effort out there tonight. To come up with an injury like that late in the game.
I don't think the news has reached Sean McRae yet, but when he finds out about that, that will be another crippling blow for him. And the Bulls, well, they're not taking their foot off the gas. This is Radford.
Well done, stay 10.
Lowe's, Leon Price. Scrambling defence, Poucher was there, Collins was there.
Good stuff from Poucher as well.
Midfield
Price.
bomb on the last. Bounced one way, then the other. Who's got it?
Good play by Anderson.
Anderson's got it for the Bulls.
Second effort. Good work from the big forward.
McDermott wants to get in on the act.
Don't tell me Anderson's going to go for the field goal.
Well, Neil Cowie did a couple of weeks ago, so why not? No, Anderson will go for 4.
And don't bet against Jimmy Lowe's going for one as well.
They're lining up both ways. Options either side. Lowe's to Radford. Radford trying to outmuscle this whole defence. Felstow stands his ground again. Lowe's. Fielden gets another. Stuart Fielden with the try for Bradford. His second. Well, they're bagging him in pairs tonight. 2 for Fielden, 2 for McAvoy, 2 for Spruce, 1 for Naylor, Robbie Paul and Peacock, and Leon Price.
Well, it all came about from the 6 to go. It was a good high kick, but great work from the big fella. He wound himself up to try to get a try, but Fielden went for the second. The future is rosy here at Oxford. Little wonder we saw a wry smile from the coach Matthew Elliott, and why not? With this man, James Lowe's, controlling things at the dummy half position, and with so much young, eager strength to ply against the defence. Little wonder we're looking at a huge scoreline yet again.
The 10th try for the Bradford Bulls, scored by Stuart Fielden.
And when you think about it, Eddie, the one thing that Matthew Elliott will be telling his players that points difference could play a big part.
Well, the points difference, yeah, they've got at the moment is worth a couple of points on the league ladder anyway. Well, Robbie's missed with 3, but he hasn't missed with another. That's 8 from 11 for Robbie Paul, and it's 56-6 to the Bradford Bulls. The league leaders on top of the table, and they will be at the end of the weekend, no matter what happens elsewhere. This will open up a 2-point gap between Matthew Elliott's team and the rest. And that's it. The conversion from Henry Paul was the last kick of the match. A job very well done by Matthew Elliott, but you have to feel some sympathy for Sean McRae and the men from Hull. They came into this game depleted and terribly under strength, and they have lost, by the sound of things, Dion Bird with a broken hand, so the injury news gets no better. And next weekend they have to play Henry Paul's former team, Wigan, up at the Boulevard. But tonight it's Matthew Elliott's moment. His team are top of the tree once again. They are up there by 2 clear points now. And it's been a fine evening's entertainment for another big crowd here at Onslow, who have cheered them to the rafters. Now, a reminder of that big night of boxing coming up for you tomorrow. Lennox Lewis is back in town to defend his world heavyweight titles against Franz Botha. It's a huge night, including 3 other title fights. Action starts tomorrow from 8 o'clock, live only on Sky Box Office. More information, call 08705 800 888. That's 08705 800 888. And still to come tonight, here on Sky Sports 1 at 9:30, it's the Big Fight Countdown, followed at 10 by more late night wrestling in WWF Raw. Live golf over on Sky Sports 2 now from day 2 of the Greater Milwaukee Open. And coming up on Sky Sports 3 tonight at 10, it's the Friday Night Sports Centre. There's still lots of entertainment for you on Sky Sports tonight and over this coming weekend. And talking of entertainment, that has been entertainment from the Braford Bulls. Hull, a brave effort, but with such an injury list, it looked a hopeless cause, and 56-6 means that it was. The Bulls run riot, and 10,000 go home very happy.
He's destroyed all in his path. The world heavyweight champion,
spectacular,
Lennox Lewis.
It's over!
Finally returns to London to defend his title.
Lewis blew him away.
Against South African Frans Botha. Lewis beat Botha Saturday at 8, Sky Box Office. Booked before midnight tonight for the early price of $11.95. Call 08705 800 777. Cable customers, contact your local operator.
Hello. Okay. We were asked to design a phone box. As with our cars, form and function are equally important. Is it true? Of course. Yeah. Hello? I can hear you. Fine, how are you? Fantastic. You can see the Audi phone box at the London Design Museum in our cars at your nearest Audi centre.
Travel, they say, broadens the mind, broadens the wallet, more like, especially when the local exchange rate carries more.